Okay, let's welcome Hilary to the show. Hilary Graves is a wine grower, viticulturist, and educator with more than 20 years of field experience on California's Central Coast. She currently works as the Vineyard and Grower Relations Manager for Booker Wines in Paso Robles, California. And I just want to say, hi, Hilary. Thanks for coming to the show today. I know we met, back in 2013, 14, when I was working on the Central Coast. And I recently ran into you at Unified Wine and Grape Symposium and went to your talk. And I didn't think there were enough people in the room. There was maybe like 150. And I thought, thousands of people need to hear this information, because you didn't just talk about regenerative agriculture or how to transition to regenerative organic certification. You aired all your dirty laundry about the challenges you had, how you navigated those challenges. And I thought, this is what the grape grower needs to hear. So Hilary, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to share my stories with
Yeah,
you.
good. Well, I literally filled a whole page in my notebook from your talk, and I love the practical approach you had for adopting all these new practices in regenerative agriculture, incorporating them into the property that you've been managing for so long. Before we go into our topic today, can you tell us a little bit more about your background, how you got interested in agriculture and wine grapes, and what drew you to Booker and where you are today?
Yeah, my background is super crazy. I got my bachelor's degree in business, which I've always been really grateful for that. I use it every day. And I worked in the library at Fresno State while I was getting my bachelor's degree, and I loved it. And so I was like good at school. I kind of learned how to game school.
It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, I don't think I wanna get a job, so I'm gonna go to grad school." And so I went to Texas Women's University in Denton, Texas, and I got my master's degree in library and information science.
Oh my gosh, not viticulture, not agriculture at all. This is crazy. Okay. And in Texas. Okay, cool.
And, my first job when I finished that, I was the academic librarian at the Viticulture and Enology Research Center at Fresno State, where they do current scientific research on grape growing and winemaking. And I needed a second master's to get tenure. So I started taking classes in crop science at Fresno State. And then my husband and I moved here to the Central Coast for his work. And so I started studying crop science at Cal Poly. That was before there was no wine and viticulture major back then.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so that's how I transitioned to agriculture. But I do come from a farming family. My family farms in the Central Valley, not wine grapes, but cotton, cantaloupes. So agriculture was familiar to me, but not something I ever thought I would get into.
I heard you speak about was your transition to the regenerative organic certification. So you took it another step or into a different level of certification. And so, we have listeners from all over the world, different stages of different, age vineyards, vineyard development. I'd like to start by talking about what it means to be regenerative organic certified and how that differs from just the standard organic certification.
Yeah. The way that I explain it is that our regenerative organic certification is an additional certification that sits on top of our organic certification. So we are certified organic by CCOS, and then regenerative organic certified by the Regenerative Organic Alliance. And the organic certification means that I don't use any petroleum or synthetic chemicals in my farming. But the regenerative certification is based on 3 pillars: soil health, animal welfare, and social fairness. So I'm not raising animals for meat or fiber. So the animal welfare piece doesn't really apply to my operation, but the soil health and the social fairness definitely do. Uh, so that is the difference.
Okay, so Booker was organic, didn't certify, then everyone changed their mind. Certification is important for reasons you just explained. Regenerative was the next stage because of obviously what you've mentioned too, these additional things you want to show that are part of your core values. How long did it take, if it takes several years to become certified organic or to transition from conventional to organic, is there a long leeway to become certified for regenerative organic? If you're, let's say you're already organic,
Mhm.
how soon could you achieve the certification for regenerative organic? Within a year?
I'm going to use Keith Patterson's favorite answer, which is it depends.
Those good old university responses. I did extension. I said it depends a lot too. But what
Yeah.
but what do you mean by that?
It depends on what you're already doing. Like, how crunchy have you taken your organic piece? And then also this the documentation that you need for the social fairness piece is also important. So you could technically transition pretty quickly, as we did, because we already were experimenting and pretty committed to low till, um, and we had already incorporated animals in our farming. Um, we also already were paying fair living wage. So all of the things that they take into consideration, we had implemented. So it just was a matter of documenting it all.
What is your philosophy on cover cropping and how is it incorporated into your certification? So what are the requirements for it? But then what have you done to customize it and to fit your philosophies at Booker?
So the 5 species, that's the minimum requirement for regenerative organic certification. So I started with 5 because that was the minimum required. And then as I learned more about it and I started seeing what was happening in the vineyard, I was like hooked. And I now am up to 15 species. Um, I was gonna do 16, but they were out of fenugreek when they put my mix together this year.
Oh,
Uh,
bummer. We could have used it for cooking or something too. Do you ever go out there and like pick stuff and
I
eat
just
it?
did right before this podcast. I was out. We usually the sheep. So remember, I just told you I didn't get the sheep this year.
Yeah.
So my cover crop is super crazy right now because it hasn't been mowed yet.
Okay. And what's out there? Okay, 15 species. What do you have out there? Let's just dive right into it right
I'm
now.
not going to be able to remember all 15, but I have. So I was eating peas because usually the sheep eat it down before the peas form. But I have peas this year, so I was just picking peas and eating them out of the pod. I have fava beans, flax, Phacelia, which I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it has the most beautiful flowers that the bees love. So there's tons of bees out there. Daikon radish, a whole bunch of different Cossack black oats, a bunch of different oats and the things that I try to stay away from are clover and vetch. But
Okay. And why is that?
well, in California, veg becomes just a total weed. It is so efficient at living and it climbs up the vines, and so I stay away from that. And
Okay.
clover, I have stayed away from, although I think I might have one species of clover in my mix this year, but I've stayed away from it traditionally because gophers tend to like it, and gophers are a big problem for us.
You're looking at your depletion of your soil moisture using your soil moisture sensors, the probes, and
Mhm.
you're trying to delay as long as you can the onset of irrigation. And as we know, the irrigation can cause more vegetative growth underneath the
Yeah.
canopy. So, is
Yeah.
there ever a need to contemplate a third pass if you do find yourself in a season where you're irrigating more late in the
Yes.
season?
Yeah.
Oh,
There are times, and then sometimes we'll just have to choose. We'll say, okay, these blocks need it, but we just do it based on what needs it, not like, okay, we're gonna make a pass of the whole vineyard no matter what. It's just the blocks that need it.
excellent. Okay.
Um, Yeah, I think that's an important thing because I'm always thinking about every time I put a tractor into the vineyard, I'm burning fossil fuel, putting carbon into the atmosphere, and compacting the soil. So I'm thoughtful about tractor passes.